think it might be useful to try out the pads here. And I'm not going to worry about the X relay so much, but it does really expand the capability here. I'm going to use the XFM, which allows me to use frequency modulation to adjust any sound anywhere in my set. So I've got this very low tuned sine wave, and the sine wave that's modulating it is going to remain in that C Aeolian scale. Whether the actual output remains in that scale depends on the incoming signal. So it's not guaranteed to make sure the output is in that scale, but it does kind of constrain the input to a more diatonic array of possibilities. Now I've increased the modulation to 100%, and now I can switch to, for example, a pulse wave, which has a pulse width factor as well. And I can do something fun with the LFO-X here, which is, let's just go ahead and drop it after the XFM, and I'm going to switch that to a synchronized time rate of, let's say, every bar, and I'll switch it to a random shape with a bit of smoothing, and then map that to the note here. And I have to, once again, because I have modulation control, I must disable the glide time. And I might want to constrain the range again, maybe 75 to 25 or so. Okay, so we also have a pulse width option in the triangle mode. And I can also specify a threshold or a crossover. Perhaps a crossover would be useful here. But where it gets really interesting is selecting the self or the noise mode, in which case the randomization of the note is irrelevant because there are no notes in noise mode. Noise is full frequency, it can't really be tuned. Now get this, I can select an external FM modulation input source. And this gives me two chooser menus, so I'll select the drum kit. And let's do post effects, just so that we can hear it with the drums muted. So you can hear now that drum kit modulating this pad signal. So the frequency of the drums is modulating everything coming from the pads. It's above, in this case, 360 hertz now. I can specify to also just get, for example, the hi-hats. And then we can rebalance the dry-wet. So that just makes the frequency modulation a little more dynamic.